Good morning, everyone. My name is LJ Finney, and today's episode is I'm the CEO of Any Team, and this is Any Given Monday. Today on this episode, we are focused specifically on team building because that's the theme. It's summer. You're trying to think about how to retain your staff. You're thinking about how to keep them engaged and help recharge them for a strong third and fourth quarter finish. Meaning, how are you going to finish out the remainder of the year? We're halfway through the year, and the question is always, how do I attract, retain, and develop the team that I currently have? I'm a huge believer in team building events, but team building events that are strategic. And it's not just about going out to a place and getting to know people and bringing people together. To make it effective, a good team building event improves morale. It improves trust and it strengthens the team. So today we're going to break down what makes a great team building event versus, just a mediocre event and how a leader can avoid some of the common challenges. So one, what your team building event should be. Let's just talk about what is the purpose of the event. Just one more time. Last week we spoke about it at a high level, but this week we're going to revisit it. A successful event, it doesn't just entertain you. It clears some goals. It supports the team's long-term success. And that's because you've defined what success is. You as the leader have set the vision. You have identified what is it that I need for them to get. If they just have a really good time, what do I want them to walk away feeling? That doing better or doing differently when they return back to the office, if possible, because you can't change people's behavior overnight. It's just a series of actions over time. So some of the key themes that we work with leaders on are the team building event. You want strong communication. Say you want to help the team communicate more effectively because you see there are a number of challenges that are expensive for you, costing you money, costing you time. And that's why you're thinking, I need a team building event. That's one. And we want to build trust and collaboration. Great one. To break down the barriers between departments, break down the inability for a department to release work or to request work or support from someone else. If I'm in sales and I need marketing, we need to work in tandem. We need to work together. And we need to trust that we understand each individual goal so that people feel like, oh, they just want their work because it's their thing and they're going to look good. And it's a less accountability in sharing the responsibility of getting the entire team to the finish line or getting the entire team to deliver one final product, solution, experience. You want to increase engagement and motivation. Maybe you're trying to encourage people to have a can-do attitude, to really think about how they can improve the organization and be self-motivated, not to be told what to do all of the time, but to come up with ideas, make recommendations, know how to vet those recommendations and not just be pulling things out of the air. I never have seen a team suffer from motivated people and engaged people. There might be one naysayer or one person that's not engaged, but that can't be influencing the rest of the team. You can't allow one person's dissatisfaction to influence how the rest of the team engages. And so we want to make people excited to work together. Then culture alignment. One of the challenges new firms and new organizations or even legacy firms have. What is the culture that you want to create? How do you want your brand to be known in the street? How do you want your brand to be known in the industry? How do you want your brand to be known generally? A firm with high integrity, a firm that pays its subcontractors on time. That's my favorite. A firm that is clear with their expectations. A place where I come and feel welcomed. Food that nourishes my soul. What are the things that you want your people to walk away feeling? And how can the culture of your organization influence that? And so what does a great team building event create? It creates real conversations. It's not forced participation. It creates moments that are memorable and that matter to people, not just like activities to be doing an activity. And hopefully it builds connections that last beyond the event, connections that allow people to really think about who they are, They may not look forward to seeing the person right away, but they know a little bit more about that person. They may say, if they're a genuinely concerned human being, "Oh, how is your son? How is your daughter? How is your mother? How are you?" In the next time that they meet. They are genuinely curious about the thing you may have talked about because they were actively listening and getting to know you ever so slightly. And so when a team building event backfires, take for example, one of my clients that said, "Oh, we're going to go to like eat out at a restaurant." And there were so many challenges with that because they didn't ask if the person or the people eating had gluten allergies. They didn't ask if they were vegan. They didn't do a lot of like surveying before they decided to go to this restaurant. And so it just made for what could have been a really great experience, not as enjoyable for everyone. And said, instead of that, it just kind of created a little bit more dissension. Also, there was another client that came to me after doing a competitive team building event. It was like a mud race or some kind of like mile, I don't know, it was like some kind of endurance race. And it created more rivals and resentment because they weren't challenged to work with each other, they were challenged to work against each other, which is kind of like the opposite effect of what a team building should have. So your formula for success is to really think about how you're going to design a high impact, not high activity, but high impact team building event. And the formula is you want to kind of create like you want to create a checklist. What are the things you need? A clear goal. What is our goal? What is our objective? What problem do you want to address in your organization? Or what opportunity do you want to capitalize on? We're entering a new market. We want everyone to learn about it. Let's create a team building event around it and use it to make a fun way for people to learn. Make it a fun and engaging activity for people to learn from. You want to customize the team. You want to kind of think about, you know, personalities, preferences, culture, responsibilities. Like if you're going to have a team building event after work, well, can you just make sure that there are caregivers that, or if you have teams that are responsible for childcare or responsible for picking up or dropping off their kids, or if you have people that have elderly parents that they're caring for, whatever the case is, that you have some mindfulness around the activity. So our last client, he decided to make the event during the workday. So we essentially gave everyone a free day off. Within that event, I heard one or two people complaining about, "I'd rather be at work." I heard one or two people say, "I'd rather just have the day off." And so, how could we have improved that? Well, the reality is you can't make everyone happy. That's okay too. It's okay that some people are going to be a little bit less satisfied, less enjoyable. Everyone, you can't make everyone happy. But what you can do is understand what their challenges are because the team building event can't serve as a band aid. And that's what I say to any organizational leader. You must do the pre work before bringing people to the team building event. You must let them know. You must help them understand and help them feel comfortable expressing themselves so that whatever angst and upset or anger or frustration or dissatisfaction they have in their job, they can't bring that with the expectation for it to be solved at the team building event. You have to create forums for conversations to occur before and after the event. Before the event, so that you can kind of get any kind of frustration or disruption, um, have it kind of have awareness of it, have an understanding of it, have a plan for it. Then when you have the team building event, then you can be managing and prepared for that. And then after the event, create forums for people to continue to improve, continuous improvement, continued implementation. That's the goal of your team building event, to shift the culture, energy, or plant a new seed that lasts long after the hour or 2 hours or 3 hours you spent. As we created a proposal recently for a company to do an on-site golf clinic in their building. I love doing these. I love doing these conversions where you reimagine a space and you bring in things that they never expected. But the challenge there is, well, what is it that you'd like to accomplish? Because you want to do a team building event and you have a reason. It's just, I just want to bring my team together. Maybe. But what more do you want? And it's difficult work for a leader. Like, I just want to do this because we're supposed to, or I just want to do this because it's the right thing to do. Because all good team leaders do a team building event. Yes, but all Good leaders know a purpose and direction. So really think about how do you customize it, make it engaging for your team, make it spark or help it spark their curiosity, help it be aligned with things that they are naturally interested in or curious about in life or aligned with your business. I made a proposal to a gaming entity that when they do their team building event, you could take people out of the office, but take them to a place where they continuously understand the benefit of working together in a playful environment that can also be stressful. Um, and thinking about how can you make it fun for them to engage others to continue to have fun because that's the whole point of that particular company's um, background. Now, will you spend a lot of money in that place? Absolutely. Fun, in that case, fun costs money and it's expensive to have fun. You're doing skee ball, you're doing all of these things and it costs you money. So you want people to not realize how much money they're spending, but that means they're having so much fun that money is no issue. Money is not an object, or at least they don't think about it until after when the credit card bill comes. That's a different conversation. But your team should feel like they're having fun, like it's their first time, like they're having as much fun helping people have fun. So that's an example for that particular proposal. And then the other thing you want to think about for an effective checklist is how will you follow up? What are your follow up items? So let's get into a little bit deeper. What are some of the things that you can do? Yes, survey your team, ask what they would like to do, but also give some recommendations of why you think or what is out there and what you think could be a great event. Two, design learning opportunities into the team building activity. That's where we specialize in experiential learning. Like, think about the thing you want to happen and make sure that you have forms and ways for that to be executed and achieved. And then let's just think about overall the day. Rain or shine, if it's an indoor activity, you don't have an issue. But if it's an outdoor activity, you want a contingency plan if the weather doesn't allow for it. If it's a physical activity, you want an opportunity for people of all abilities and access points to be able to participate. So you must ask those questions beforehand. We did a team building event at a museum, and there was a lot of walking. So the first question I asked the client, are you sure this is the venue that is most suitable for all of the members of your team? And he said yes. I said, okay, fine. And in my mind, as an event designer and the partner in the team building activity, I designed the event to allow for many breaks and spaces so that if people needed to sit down or they needed to take time or they did not want to keep walking from one exhibit to another exhibit, from one activity to another activity, that there were intentional pauses. How can you do that? Well, you have to work with someone that could say, what do you want the flow? What do you want the experience to feel like? How do you want people to feel during the event, after the event? How do you want them to engage? How do you want them to step into leadership or think about themselves or view themselves as a leader? But for that particular client, the focus was we are all leaders and really helping everyone see themselves as a influencer in the organization without title. Because you can be a leader without having a formal title. And that's what you want your staff to walk away with, that they are all independent leaders and can do whatever they set their mind to if they choose to. And so our final takeaway for this overall session and segment in general is that the best team building events, they're not just fun. They're not just you throwing ounces or darts or ping pongs or balls or roller skating or paintball. It's not just activities or paint and sip or walking library tours. Like I can go on for hours about all of the activities. And if you're in New York City, it's even there are even more options. Like I had a group that we proposed going to the Intrepid because we wanted to really tie in the conversation around legacy, around impact, around creating something new out of something that exists and being able to repurpose experiences and then also add in some historical context to it. We didn't go on that event, but the proposal was awesome, trust me. But the best team building events serve as leadership tools. They're valuable leadership tools. They they don't just break the ice. They create alignment. They create trust. We create engagement. That's why we love golf. I'm going to tell you, I don't care if you never picked up a club to I play 18 holes or 36 holes like we did when we were in Scotland. I'll tell you about that trip another day. Um, because yeah, I'll tell you about that trip today before we get off this line because we're almost at time and I'm a little bit more efficient in today's conversation than I have been in the past, mainly because I also know that your time is valuable as well as mine, and I have another meeting right after this. So um, the the first conversation point that I wanted to make was about what should you do next? Like, what's your call to action? Well, think about it. It's June 9th, and summer is ahead of you. People are getting ready to go on vacations. Kids are going to be out of school, and it's just summer. And if you're anywhere, summer is just a nice time of the year. I don't love the heat, but some people do. So this is their time to thrive. Um, so the first thing you do is reflect. Look at your team. Look at the team dynamics. Look at your growth goals. Are you trying to hire? Are you trying to expand your organizational footprint? Are you trying to take on new projects? Are you trying to enter new markets? What are your hiring goals and needs? And what is the cohesive feeling of that team currently? Are you a team of one and you're trying to grow? Are you a team of two and you're trying to grow? Because all of that, a team of one still has a culture. Like there's a way you work. And when you bring someone on, you're creating the culture. The way you work is now the way that you're going to expect them to work. And that's either going to create pressure and stress or enjoyment. Like you are the influencer, you are the culture. And so now you have two people, and those two people are the culture of the organization, and they're setting the priorities, the precedents, the way in which you engage, the way in which you approach people, the way in which you speak to one another, the way in which you treat one another. So two people will influence the third person that joins. So now you have three people. Now three people are just trying to get everything done, and it's a real hustle mentality, and everything is urgent. Then that's the culture you're creating. And if that's how your business is operating, fine, because it is a luxury to say, oh, we are organized. Like it takes money to do that. You have to generate a lot of revenue. Now, say you're a multi-million-dollar company and you have a lot of clients and you have a lot of products and services and everything is operational and you've got a pretty good process. Everything's flowing. You've got departments, HR, IT, like it's a good organization. You've been around multiple years. Things are flowing pretty well. You're still bringing new people into the organization. You still have existing people. You still have culture. And so in that, you want people to create organic relationships. Because if you've never needed to work with someone, when you work with them the first time, that learning curve to get to know one another may be steep. And that impacts the productivity of your company. That impacts the productivity of your team. And depending on their engagement and how they've learned about one another and how they've gotten to know one another, it's it could be negative or it could be positive. Team building events allow you as a leader to think about what are all of the ways I want my teams to work together. I want my IT team to work with my sales team. They don't really talk to each other naturally. They don't organically connect. How do I put them together in a way that allows the sales team to sell the things that we actually have and the IT team to not dismiss all of the promises that the sales team made? These are real conflicts that occur in the workplace. And there are happier ways or more intentional ways to get people speaking the same language. So when you think about it, what is your call to action? One, what's one challenge your team faces or one opportunity they want to capitalize by having a strong and well-working team? And what is the culture of your organization? Answer that for yourself as a team lead, as an organizational leader. Like, what are some things I want to see my team accomplish? What would I like them to accomplish? Then create a plan. Hire someone that can help you. Plan it yourself. Survey your team. Ask what they would like to do. But think about it. Don't expect them to come up with all of the ideas. Think about what are some of the activities that I'd be open to, or I think we should try. If you're going to go into New York, top 10 things to do as a team in New York. Just Google it. Google is your friend. These chat applications, they could be your friend. These AI applications could be your friend. Social media is your friend as well. Get some ideas, proven ideas, things that you see people doing, and create it for yourself. If you're interested, if some of the events could be industry agnostic. Doesn't matter if you're in food service, if you're in leadership and development, depending on like what team, like what kind of activities your team normally does. You can be industry related, like maybe do a walking food tour if you're in food. Experience different restaurants and what you love and rate them. Rate them on the things that you care about as a business. It's fun to the people. They don't realize that, your employees, they don't realize that that activity is really more a gauge of what they can bring back into the office and replicate and maybe even build as a process. It's limitless. It's as limitless as your creativity, whatever you can do. So really thinking about it from that perspective. And then let's see. One of the other things that you can do is join us next week, and we'll keep the conversation going. That's the obvious one. Just join us next week. We're going to keep the conversation going. But more so, after you think about the activity, how do you want to start to capture input about what they think could make the organization better? What they need personally? Do they need coaching? Do they need team training? What do they need to be successful in their role? And so pre-survey and then post-survey. Because how do you know if the event was effective? One of the things I like charge my clients with thinking about is, how are we going to survey? How are we going to know that the time and the money you've spent make a difference? How do we know that it at least impacted one or two people that could be a catalyst for change? Like the butterfly effect, maybe, or the ripple effect. You drop a pebble in the water and it creates a ripple. Well, team building is like that as well. One person can influence an entire organization in both a positive and a negative way. And hopefully it's not the leader doing it, because then that's just a toxic work environment. And the team building event, I don't know that I know for certain that a team building event can't fix it, but oftentimes companies will just try to layer on this Band-Aid onto like a very broken leg. It doesn't work. It does something, but changing your culture of your organization, it does not do. That's where we recommend executive retreats. So I will pause and say, let's talk about that another week. As for now, I want to just remind you that we as an organization, our corporate social responsibility to give back is we teach kids in the inner city golf through Finer Life Golf. We are an organization that believes that golf can transform how you view yourself as a leader in the corporate environment. We believe children deserve that access and opportunity to learn it as well. And while the school programming may not include it, we do summer programming for kids to teach them golf. And we are hosting a fundraiser. Well, we're not hosting it. Finer Life Golf is hosting it. We donate a portion of our revenue to Finer Life Golf. And for the fundraiser, Finer Life Golf is, and I obviously sit on the board, but Finer Life Golf is raising the money. 100% of the proceeds go to the programming and the event and the training that they do with kids. They provide food, breakfast, and lunch during the golf training, transportation, attire. We really look at the organization as a way to address all of the barriers to the game, and we provide mentorship by finding people that are doing the things that we're talking about, leaders in companies that play golf socially, that play golf for business, that play golf to build relationships, that play golf for health. And we bring those individuals to speak to the kids and to talk about their own lived experiences. Some of the things that we focus on: health, wellness, nutritious eating, education, math. I love math, so we talk about math, science, as well as financial literacy, because golf is expensive, it's not cheap, and it'd be foolish to tell you that you could do it for cheap, but it's a very different experience. It's possible. All things are possible. But this is the event. It is on the 18th, which is a Friday of July. And you can come out, scan that code. You can come out as a sponsor, as a golfer. There are no general attendees, like there's no spectator opportunities, but we're excited to have a children's clinic that's hosted for the local Harlem, Far Rockaway, and Bronx Giants football team. So we'll be teaching them golf, putting specifically. And then all of our corporate sponsors will be able to come out and entertain some clients. So if you want to do a team building event, this is an option for you. Consider it. Other than that, I thank you for coming out. I thank you for listening, and I will see you next week. And next week, we will talk more about team building, but the pivot between the executive retreat or the executive conversation that needs to happen prior to your team building event. Thank you for joining us.